Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav and today we are going to learn what is JavaScript. And if you are a complete beginner in JavaScript or you are going to start your learning journey with JavaScript, do not worry, I am going to go very basic step by step, and in this complete series on JavaScript we will understand and learn JavaScript from scratch. So let's get started, and to start with we can say JavaScript is a high level and interpreted programming language. Now this is a very standard definition of JavaScript. Here there are two very important words, that is high level and interpreted. So JavaScript is a high level programming language. What does this mean? Let me go to Google and search for high level language, and I will go to the images. So here you can see some images. Let me go to this image, and here you can see we have different type of languages. We have machine language, which is also called as low level language, and then we have assembly language and a high level language. Now machine language is closest to the system's hardware or the computer system. So machine language is written in a binary format like zeros and ones, which can be very easily understood by the machine or the system's hardware, and therefore it is very fast in processing. However, this format cannot be easily understood by human beings or users, and therefore it cannot be easily coded by a user. Now then we had assembly languages, and then finally high level languages that we use today like Java, C, JavaScript, Python. So these languages are written in a very user friendly format like an English language, and they can be easily understood by users. However, they cannot be directly understood by machine or systems hardware, and therefore high level languages need a compilation step or an interpretation step to convert into a format that can be understood by the hardware. And we can also see some more images. You can see this one. Here also you can see the differences. We have a low level programming language which is created in binary format like zeros and ones, and because it can be directly understood by computers hardware, it is fast. And then high level languages, you can see it has a very user friendly format, and then it requires a change or it requires a conversion to a format that can be understood by the machine, and this conversion can be a compilation or an interpretation step. If I go back to the slides, high level language is written in simple English or user friendly language, and a user can understand it easily, whereas we need a compilation or interpretation step so that the machine can understand this. Here is an example that we have already seen, the difference between low level and high level programming language. Now JavaScript is also an interpreted programming language. If I go again to Google and I will search for interpreted languages and go to images, and you can see a image here. This picture shows a high level difference between compiled and interpreted languages. So a programming language can be a compiled language that needs a compilation step before it can run on the system's hardware, or it can be interpreted. Now C, C++, Go, Fortran, Pascal, all these are compiled languages where we have a compilation step. So you write your programming language in your whatever language you are writing in, and then there is a compilation step that converts that source code into a machine code, and then it finally runs on the system. Whereas in the interpreted languages like Python, JavaScript, Ruby, PHP, we do not have a compilation step. It is ready to run. It is interpreted line by line and directly run on the machine. So if I go back here, we can see interpreted language is ready to run as soon as you are done typing. In contrast, a compiled language must be compiled before it can be run. And this is a very simple example. You can see the upper part. Here we have a C program. It needs a compiler, so the source code gets compiled into machine code, which is also called a binary format, and this machine code then can directly be run on the system and gives us the output. Whereas in interpreted languages like Python or JavaScript, there is an interpreter, there is no compiler. It reads the source code line by line and executes it on the machine, and we get the output. So therefore now you understand JavaScript is a high level and interpreted programming language, and it was designed by Brendan Eich in the year 1995. So he was working at Netscape Communications, and he developed and designed this language, and it first appeared on December 4, 1995. JavaScript is also called programming language for the web, and it started as a programming or a scripting language for web. However, it has evolved since then. If I just go to my browser and I go to any website, I will do a right click on any element and go to inspect. I can also press F12 so that I can see this developer mode, and you can see we have a console here. So if I go to this console, here I can directly write any JavaScript code. So if I say console.log, now we are going to learn all these statements. Do not worry, I'm just showing you a very quick example. I will say hello world, and if I press enter, you can see it is printing hello world. I can also just do any calculation, like I'll say 2 plus 3, and it is giving me the output as 5. So JavaScript usually was earlier used as a scripting language on the web. However, today non-browser environments also use it, such as Node.js and Adobe. So it is widely used, and it has evolved a lot since its beginning in the year 1995. If I just go to my Windows system, and here I'm going to my command prompt, and I'm just checking if Node is installed. I will say Node space -v, and it gives me the version of Node. That means Node is installed. Now do not worry, I'm just showing you this as a demo. We are going to learn all this. Do not worry if Node is not installed on your system. I will just go to my desktop and create a new text file, and I will just name it as hello, and I will open this, and again I will write a JavaScript code here, console.log hello world, and I will save and close this. And now I'm just going to change the extension of this file from .txt. I'm going to make it as .js. So this will be a JavaScript file then, and I'll just say yes. And now I will run this through Node. I will go to my desktop from command line, because this file is on the desktop here. So this is here, and now I will say Node and the file name, which is hello.js, and run this, and you can see the output hello world. So this can be used in Node and Adobe and Apache environments as well. And JavaScript on browser can update and change both HTML and CSS. We are going to learn this as well. And it conforms to the ECMAScript specification. So ECMA is a body, and it has some guidelines, and JavaScript conforms to these guidelines. So this is European Computer Manufacturers Association, and ECMA, or this ECMAScript, is a standard for information and communication systems. If I just go to Google and I will search for JavaScript versions, or let me search for JavaScript releases here, and we have a W3 schools page, and we have this page from JavaScript MDN. I will go here. I will provide all these links in the description of this video, and you can see here the different versions, and you can see ECMAScript versions. So JavaScript follows the ECMAScript guidelines, and you can see all these versions from JavaScript 1.1 and all these versions here. Similarly, on this website you can see the official name. So in 1997 it was officially named ECMAScript 1, which was the first edition with ECMAScript, and then ECMAScript 2, and so on. And then we have ECMAScript 5 in 2009, and then in 2015 it was ECMAScript 6, or ES6 as we popularly know it. So this is how it is released. So here ECMAScript, or ES, is a specification, and JavaScript conforms to these specification or these guidelines. And here now you can understand this is a specifications called ECMAScript, and JavaScript conforms to this specification. JavaScript was released as version 1.0 in March 1996 in Netscape Navigator 2.0 and Internet Explorer 2.0. So these were the two browsers where it was released in March 1996, and then in November 1996 Netscape submitted JavaScript to ECMA International, which is the standard body, to carve out a standard specification so that other browser vendors could also use, and there is a standard specification and everyone can use this standard specification for JavaScript. So this led to official release of the language with ECMAScript, which was first edition published in June 1997. So here JavaScript was invented by Brendan Eich in 1995 and became an ECMA standard in 1997. So I hope this is very clear. JavaScript conforms to the ES or ECMAScript specification. Now, if we understand this in a nutshell, JavaScript is a high-level and interpreted programming language. It was designed by Brendan Eich in 1995 and became an ECMA specification or ECMA standard in 1997. It was developed as programming language for the web. However, it is today very extensively used in non-browser environments as well, and there are multiple frameworks that you might see in JavaScript. I will also explain that in a moment, and it conforms to the ECMAScript or ES specification. So to sum up, let us see some popular frameworks which are based on JavaScript. I will again go to my browser and go to Google, and I will search for JavaScript frameworks, and let me just go to this first link, and you will see there are some popular frameworks which are created with JavaScript or over JavaScript, and you can see React.js. This is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. So JavaScript can also be used for building UI applications. If you see the other framework based on JavaScript, which is AngularJS, it can be used to create mobile and desktop applications. So you can use JavaScript to create full-fledged mobile and desktop applications as well today. Then we have Vue.js, again a JavaScript framework, and then Meteor.js. So here you can also build your apps using Meteor.js for web, mobile and desktop. Then we have Ember.js, we have Backbone.js and Aurora.js. All these frameworks are there. So you can see how wide and how much JavaScript has evolved since 1995, and now you understand what JavaScript is and how it is used. I hope this session was very useful for you. In the coming session, we will go very deep and learn coding on JavaScript, and it is going to be very easy and very interesting. Thank you for watching this video, and I will meet you in the next video of JavaScript. Have a good day.